Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host today, Mina, and joining me today we got
Hello, I'm One Up Muffin, but you can call me Jared.
and
What's up, gamers? Returning for the first time in like 4 years. It's Poochie, but you can call me Aubrey.
this is
Hello,
a
welcome back,
special
Aubrey.
occasion. Special occasion. We got Aubrey on the podcast. It's been a while. I think the last time she was on, I was also on. So it's been.
It was like the September 2021 direct. I want to say I might have been on
Oh.
sometime since then. I
Wow,
don't know.
that's wild.
A lot-
Yeah, a long time ago.
We're hoping to get back to more regular-ish now that there's more Nintendo news and that we have an easier process to post these. It should be a lot easier to get these going.
And to be clear, we will be recapping the whole last 4 years since she's been
Yeah.
gone on the podcast. Yeah. No, but
Yeah,
we're
this
here
is
today. Sorry, go on.
this is the Emio podcast. Actually, let's do
Yeah,
it.
surprise!
To the spoiler cast.
But this is actually a very special occasion because a new console just launched. The
Yep.
Nintendo Switch 2. It's a little like what, 3 weeks old now, I think? Something like that.
Wow.
Thereabouts. 20
yeah.
days.
20 days. So we're gonna be talking about our first couple weeks with the new console, the new generation of Nintendo. Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting. Yes.
So
I mean, it's new generation. It's a cool system.
Whole system. Well, let's get into it. Let's just dive right in, shall we?
Yeah.
So I want to talk first of all. Let's talk launch day impressions.
Mhm.
What was your immediate, like? What's the first game you booted up? What did you think? Like, give me all of it. And we can
For
start
sure.
with
And
Jared.
yeah, I want to say first, did we all do midnight launches or
I did.
what was? Okay, yeah, I did too. I went to Best Buy.
I went to a GameStop.
Oh, nice.
God, I wish I got midnight launch, but no, I stuck with Target, and
Oh, no.
I'm sure many people know how that went. I got it like a day or two later. It wasn't that big a
That's
deal.
not too bad. I had the Target order. I didn't know when the Target would ship, so I said, "Screw this," and I'm gonna wait outside Best Buy from 9:30 p.m. to midnight. And I did, and I got the Switch 2. And when I got home, I immediately booted up Mario Kart. And then Welcome Tour later, but I did not do Welcome Tour first as a goof. I went right for the real thing with Mario Kart.
Right for the real thing. Yeah. See, I picked mine up at 11 p.m. because it was midnight Eastern lunch.
Mm.
Thank you for being an hour behind Central. I really appreciated that actually. And so I picked mine up at 11 p.m. and then I immediately hopped on game chat with friend of the show, Splendor.
Oh,
You may
yes.
know. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Shouts to Splendor.
Shout
An
out to
arms champion.
Splendor. Arms champion.
Master Mummy.
Yeah. So we hopped on game chat. We played some Mario Kart, and that was my first time with the system. I was just kind of like I was kind of overwhelmed because there was a lot going on. There was just like I was game chatting. I was like Mario Kart. There was there was new mechanics. I was just like, what is going on? But I had a lot of fun that night. It was, and I will say going into the next day, right? That full first day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the key thing for me, and y'all can tell me if your experiences were different, but for me, it was a very different launch from the Switch One, and that's for two reasons. Number one, it was a lot more social. I was playing games with friends a lot. I was game chatting. I was doing multiplayer games. I was using the stupid webcam. I was doing it was a very social experience for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing was just the quantity of games that I was playing. Because when the Switch came out, it was just Breath of the Wild. I was just obsessed with Breath of the Wild. Right?
Hey! There was 1-2 Switch. There
Yeah,
was
1-2 Switch.
Skylanders.
I
Shovel Knight.
didn't have to buy slop this time.
Yeah.
I feel like with the Switch 1, it was so dire. We were just like buying like every like 5 out of 10 indie game And now there's just so much to play that we don't need to buy things like Tumbleseed or something.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so
Afraid of
many
Tumbleseed.
games. There's so many games that have just remained rent free in my head as like early, like mid summer 2017 indie games that like people
yeah.
only cared about because like
Yeah.
Snake Pass, Mr.
Snake
Shifty,
Pass.
Graceful Explosion Machine, so on and so on. Like,
you know what? Shout out to the Tumbleseed developer. I did like that game. Even though it is one of those, if it came out today, would I get it? On sale maybe.
I got Kamiko. Like a friend recommended Kamiko to me, and it was like $5. Like this isn't very good. Like,
yeah, everybody was
why did
recommending
you
it.
tell
They were like, it's Zelda. You gotta play it. It's Zelda.
And no, it's not Zelda.
Yeah. For the Switch 2,
$5.
I didn't get home until like 1:30, so and it was a work night. So I basically put the screen protector on, did like 2 Mario Kart races, and fell asleep. But I did a ton more like the next day with the game chat and the video, and I agree with me. It is so social. I did the game share of Clubhouse Games with 2 people, and that was super fun. I sold somebody on Clubhouse Games in 2025. They bought it and they played it with their like 5-year-old daughter, and played a bunch of like fun little board games.
We're gonna see Clubhouse Games in the next million seller financial report, and it's all gonna be your fault.
Yeah, I mean that game sold pretty well.
Yeah, it did. It sold like
It was
4 something million copies.
Yeah. Some might call it one of the greats.
I guess speaking of Clubhouse, which Switch 1 upgrade, like, because there was a lot of, there's about 11 upgraded games, 12 if you count Scarlet and Violet separate. Well, but who does that? For the Switch 1 from first party from Nintendo, did you try any of those? Not just the Switch 2 editions, but I mean like the games that got patches. Did you like for game share, for resolution, for whatever frame rate, whatever?
I tried. Well, first I booted up a bit of Scarlet and Violet, and it was like went into it. And it's like, yeah, that the upgrade is crazy. Like those games run now.
Yeah, it blew my freaking mind. I was like, this is not Scarlet and Violet anymore. Where's the soul? You know?
Why do things move with frame rates now?
There's so many Pokemon on screen. And then I spent like 10 minutes meandering around the world a little bit. It's like, wow. And it's like, I don't want to play these games right now.
That's
I don't
basically what I did. I do want to get back to it though, but
because I played like 20 hours Scarlet and Violet, and that got me like halfway through the game. And then it was the point where Nintendo put out the like, we're sorry about the performance issues, guys. And I took me, a naive fool, took it as like, oh, okay, they're gonna patch up the performance at some point. Which was technically right.
Yeah, they did in 2025.
Three years later on a new system.
3 years later.
And it was a free update at least. If they tried to charge for that, that would be hilarious.
Oh my god. But hey, you'll get the charge for basic performance increase experience later with a ZA.
Yeah.
That's true.
To Mina's question, I think I tried most of the Switch 1 upgrades. And I think I've tried almost every game share game except Odyssey. I meant to try that, but didn't get a chance yet. So if you have any questions about Switch 1 performance, I'm your dude.
Here, Captain Toad is actually kind of crazy in game share because in the original game, they added multiplayer at some point, right, to the Switch version?
Yeah, like one of the later patches.
Yeah. But the problem with that game is you're all controlling the camera, and it's a fucking nightmare, right? Like it is just. But now, because the game share, everyone has their own screen, which means everyone can individually control the camera without messing with other people's perspective.
Which is so cool.
That's cool.
Because you would think that game share is just a stream, and for some games it is, but some games it has a separate experience. So Captain Toad, I was playing it with, I think, Asa from the Discord, and I was like, "Hey, are you seeing my camera move?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Do you see my camera move?" And I'm like, "No." And like that was just a wild realization.
That's
That we
cool.
actually had different screens. Same with Clubhouse games. If you do a game like any type of card game or mahjong, you only see your hand. You don't see anyone else's like hand. So you don't see my cards. You don't have to like close your eyes or anything. We have different screens, which is a great way to play the game.
And I do kind of imagine that will mostly be like a Switch 1
Mhm.
game on Switch 2 thing, just because, the rendering power of having to render multiple different screens,
For
stream
sure.
them out. I'm sure
For
that's
very-
really
For
heavy
very
process.
simple games, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be for games where like the Switch can handle rendering two separate full images, right? Or the Switch 2 rather.
If you think about like the Captain Toad, I mean, it was on Wii U, so it was on both screens, even though that was mirroring. But it's not like a super complex game, so it is able to do it twice. Meanwhile, Bowser's Fury is you control the same camera. You do not get separate camera control for that, like while one person plays Bowser Jr., which is not very fun, that multiplayer. But
Yeah. I mean, it's always like, EPD Tokyo's multiplayer modes are like, oh, it's the little brother mode.
yeah, and for that, you're the same camera. It's a cute little thing. It's in there, and it's good that you can game share it. But I'll probably never touch that game share again.
I will say it's a little baffling to me that Bowser's Fury and Mario Odyssey got game share, but New Super Mario Bros. U, which actually could have used game share, does not have it. I was like, what do
Yeah.
you mean, Nintendo?
That is
wild.
weird.
I
Yeah,
hope they add that because it works for 3D World, which is
Yeah.
the same real time multiplayer.
Because that game got an update. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe got an update, but it's just a resolution update. So now it's 4K. And the people were really asking for 4K New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
And it has local game share.
So it's like, I don't know. I
What
think
was
it
that?
doesn't actually. I think New Super Mario Bros. U only has local multiplayer. Like it doesn't have like any
No, I thought they added
semblance of.
local game share though.
I don't think they did.
Oh, did they
No, I
not?
don't think they did. No.
Okay. Never mind.
I remember my crackpot theory before we found out like the specific details on each of the games that were getting the updates. Like, oh, they're going to re-add in the boost mode stuff from the Wii U version using mouse mode. It's like, I don't think that was ever actually realistic, but it's fun to have a little crackpot theory.
It was a fun time. Yeah.
I still don't get. They did mouse. Oh, I didn't try this yet. They added mouse mode to Garage Builder. What was it called?
Game Builder Garage.
Game Builder Garage. They added mouse mode to that, but not to Mario Maker, which is kind of wild.
To be fair, Game Builder Garage already supported mouse controls.
Oh,
like,
did it? Wow. Okay,
yes.
I never tried that. That's cool.
And so they just said, well, since it already we already let you use a mouse, so why not let you use the Joy-Con mouse? Right?
Word.
And it wasn't. Unfortunately, it wasn't like a natural integrated part of the system. Because like Hypnospace Outlaw, rest in peace, Dream Settler, that didn't have automatic like using the mouse con for that, even though that has built-in it's USB mouse support.
It seems like indies, like a lot of indies, just don't have the Switch 2 dev kits yet, so they just can't test updates easily, which sucks.
Yeah, like
they prioritize like devs like No Man's Sky, like Hello Games. I'm sure like bigger indies.
I'm sure now that the Switch has been out for a couple weeks, dev kits are really starting to get out there now. But back during the Switch launch, of course, that's how it was.
Sorry, I guess we should get back to the first games. But yeah, Switch 1 games, very cool.
Yeah. Did anyone try out the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of the Zelda games?
I did. I, much like Scarlet and Violet, went into as like, damn, this is fucking cool. I did the classic. Well, first it was like, since I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom in 2 years, like, oh, how do I control this game?
It takes you a second,
There's a lot.
Yeah. I did wanted to do the classic, like, jumping from one of the sky islands and then skydiving right down into one of the depths.
Deadpool.
classic. Then I was like, oh, how do I activate skydiving? And it took me like a minute of finagling with the controls to figure out how to do it again.
I
Yeah,
restarted.
those games. Those games take a second to like reconfigure your brain of how do you control, because they use every button on that controller.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I
you
still
so
don't like run on B and jump on whatever the top button is.
Just
you
gotta put them to
know,
the grip buttons.
Yeah,
just get a pro controller, you
Mhm.
know, or a charging grip.
which I did.
Yeah.
I mapped those buttons and it well. But yeah, I started Breath of the Wild again. It was wonderful going through the Great Plateau again for the first time in years. It's been long enough that it was really fun seeing it on the Switch 2 with the better resolution and visuals and frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, yeah. It kind of broke my brain. It was like, this is not how this game looks, you know. Um, it felt like how, because I felt similarly when I played the Ocarina of Time PC port for the first time,
Mm.
and I played it at 60 FPS, and I was like, Zelda's not supposed to be like this,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
And that's how I felt playing Breath of the Wild.
it's funny to think about, like, okay, Ocarina of Time came out in 1997. Until now, the only 60 FPS 3D Zelda game was Skyward Sword HD.
HD,
Wow.
yeah.
And that was only 4 years ago.
That is a wild thing to think about.
So yeah, 3D Zelda just does not look natural to me at 60 FPS. It breaks my brain. I'm just like, what's going on? You know.
Once you get used to it,
Um,
though, oh my god, I could never go back to the Switch 1 version.
Actually, speaking of Skyward Sword HD, I've heard that with them adding like an accelerometer or whatever to the new Joy-Cons, like makes the motion controls a lot better for
Yeah,
it.
I saw that.
So,
That's a wild thing.
and like it makes it so you barely have to recenter the controls, which, one of the main problems that people were talking about with Skyward Sword HD back when it came out was just, oh, you have to recenter the Joy-Cons so much for the
all
motion
the time.
controls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now I'm like, I've never played Skyward Sword before, so it's on my mind now. It's like extra incentive to go and play it finally.
It's worth playing. I don't love it, but it's worth playing.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It's a 3D Zelda.
yeah, it's a 3D Zelda. I kind of have to play it at some point.
At some point, you got to. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like Skyward Sword HD is a great example. Like a bunch of games that didn't even get patched just are better now,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
This is a really silly example, but I booted up Smash Ultimate, and like before, when you would change to the costumes, there'd be like lag to it, like it would take a second to load in the
Mm.
costume. Now it's
Mhm.
instant, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I can actually,
it's cool.
yeah,
Like
it's good.
how
There was
and
a
like how the
video. Yeah, go for it.
and like how the loading works when you actually boot into the game, and it's like it doesn't even boot up the character renders before it goes right into the game now, which looks really stupid, but it's like it's like the Switch 2 is just like the best piece of hardware Nintendo has ever made, probably. I don't think it's very controversial to say. It's just like
No,
Yeah, I
no.
mean, in terms of
yeah.
the same with Smash. Like if you do 8-player ice climbers, there's no more lag, which is very funny to watch. 16 characters on screen just hopping around.
And then pretty much every game with an uncapped frame rate benefited big time, right? Because they're all just
Mhm.
they can just all be brute force to 60 FPS now, and it's like, oh, this is great. Bayonetta 3 is a rock solid 60 FPS now, you know.
Shame its resolution is dog shit.
Yeah.
That's a problem with
was
some games still. The handheld resolution especially looks really
Ye-
ugly on some games.
Mhm.
I will
Yeah, it
say I
was
am kind of avoiding games that are not patched because of the
Mm.
resolution, because they kind of look ugly on the handheld screen, and I mostly play handheld. You
Mm.
know.
mm.
Speaking of that though, I played Switch Sports today a little bit. It looks pretty good on handheld.
Oh,
I just
okay.
did a round of bowling before this to see how it worked,
Yeah, that
and
that game
worked
looks
well.
really clean.
Yeah,
I'm
looked
kind
nice.
of Well, I was about to say I was surprised it hasn't gotten a patch yet, but I guess we more or less know it's getting a Switch 2 edition. So yeah,
Oh,
It
Switch
does
2.
seem like it. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
because on the website for like the Switch or for the backwards compatibility, back when the Switch 2 Direct happened, they removed all the games that were getting Switch 2 editions from like a tiled background, but they also removed Switch Sports and Mario Wonder. So it's like those games
Oh.
are probably getting Switch 2 editions too.
I didn't realize that. Oh, I hope they add new sports. I like Switch Sports, but it's still like even with the updates, it's just kind of lacking compared to like Resort and stuff. But it's
Switch
fun.
2 Switch Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Switch Sports Switch 2 edition plus new sports pack or something.
Plus Resort.
Plus
Give me,
Resort.
give
Hey,
me ping pong and fencing, or they have fencing. It's just not as good. Give me
I'd
ping pong
love
and
I'd
frisbee
love
golf.
give me Woohoo Island back or a
Woohoo
new
Island,
Woohoo
yeah.
Island. Give me
Give me-
Island Flyover, you
Yep.
know?
Oh,
Island
so
Flyover
fun.
was my childhood.
It's great.
That's gonna have such an awkward name though, right? Nintendo Switch Sports, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my lord.
Nintendo doesn't give a shit. They're calling Nintendo Switch 2 edition is just inherently an awkward title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
oh
it's just
yeah.
a weird stopgap thing. I do hope we get a Switch Sports 2 sooner rather than later, though.
Yeah, me
Mhm.
too.
I heard there's new games, right?
Yes, we gotta talk about the big new game, Mario Kart World. We kind of briefly
Whoa.
touched on it, but this is the big launch game, right? This is the game they opened the direct with. This is the first game we saw running on the Switch 2 back in January, right?
Mhm.
And obviously the pack-in, it's the big one, right? So what's been our experiences with this game?
It's
Well,
amazing.
it's amazing, yeah. I've played about 10 to 15 hours of it and probably spent most of the time in free roam just driving around, listening to the tunes, finding P switches, and just it's an interest. There's been a lot of discussion about the game's whole open world structure, how there's not a checklist for all of the stuff, and like, oh, how annoying it is to get all of the characters and all the costumes and blah blah blah. But I really do like how it's kind of structured as just kind of, and should they have a checklist? Should maybe some of the enemy NPC drivers be easy to get? I mean, yeah, sure. But I do think the way it's structured, in kind of the context of, because before Mario Kart 8, you got a new Mario Kart game every 3 years. Then Mario
Yeah.
Kart 8 comes out and was made to be a decade long. Ended up being stretched out to being 11 years of support, well, off and on support for a game that's basic structure was very obviously not made for those 11 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, I think Mario Kart World is much more from the very jump, taking into account it's the Switch 2 launch out, taking into account just like how long games take to make anymore, taking into account how long Mario Kart 8 was the main game. I think it's much more made a game that you pick at like just every so often throughout the Switch life cycle. And I think for that being just that very chill experience, it's really awesome.
I actually, this game taught me Zen. I'm just
so
like,
zen.
I don't care about the checklists. I don't care. I just like driving around, hitting P switches, finding coins. Like it's to me, it's a lot of fun. Like I was streaming it to my friends, and we were just having a great time. It
Mhm.
was just really fun. Just going like because the world. There's so many P switches in this game, right? Literally
394.
yeah. And so every corner there's something to do, you know? And so you never I never stop to think about, oh well, I don't think I just do,
Mhm.
and there's a beauty to that, in my opinion. Now, I'm not gonna dismiss the complaints or anything, but just in my personal experience, I didn't really care about any
I've
of
heard
it.
complaints too that it's like empty, and I just disagree fundamentally. Like I do think
Yeah.
This I think is just wrong. Yeah.
there's so much effort. There's Easter eggs. Like there's more stuff than just the P switches and the coins. There's also I went to some weird area near Out of Bounds, near Bowser's Castle, and there's just like some like boom like Hammer Bros or just like throwing hammers at like some other dudes, and they're like not like things you can just run over. They're like static NPCs that were specifically put there as just like a little Easter egg.
hmm
Cute stuff like that is around the world.
I think especially in like the past decade or so, there's been a lot of conversation about how Nintendo is more concerned with the intrinsic gameplay motivation of their video games.
Mhm.
With stuff like, especially a lot of conversation with that with like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, where a lot of the time the reward for doing stuff is more just like the fun of doing it versus like the spirit orb you get from it.
Yeah.
And, like a lot of people have criticized that it's not something everyone is into. A lot of people do find more value with, more extrinsic motivation, getting a capital S something
Mhm.
out of their thing more than a sticker. Because, like I do really like the sticker system, just like, oh, I get a cute little piece of art out of it. But it's not like a big thing you get from it. And I think it's valid that some people are like, yeah, I don't really like that. But I think that especially for, with the Zen of Mario Kart, I really like how it just kind
I
of.
think it's so funny that both of you use the term Zen for Mario Kart because like in multiplayer it's the exact opposite of Zen, but that single player mode
God.
is very peaceful. And the music
Yeah.
is amazing. These remixes are phenomenal.
Probably one of the best video game soundtracks of all time. They
Of all
knocked out the park.
time. Yeah, it's really good. And just the sheer number of them, right, is like a achievement.
Mhm.
At least over 7 hours of tracks. Which is
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Nintendo Music drop when, you know?
Mhm.
God,
the
please.
Nintendo Music servers can't even handle the amount of music. Would have to end.
The multiplayer, I've seen a lot of discourse around the idea that you should sandbag in the game. Um, and I'm just like, have some fun for once, you people. Like,
Mm.
just play the damn game. You know? Like,
People hate having fun.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy. It's like I never once thought, oh, I should sandbag to get better items so I could get good later on. It's like no, I simply try to win the whole time. I don't think
Yeah.
about it. You know,
I
it's a lot
always
more
want to
fun
be
that
in
way.
first place.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to be far enough ahead that you can withstand a blue shell.
oh
Mhm.
yeah. And maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll have a horn, or maybe you'll have a whatever.
Yeah.
There's ways to get around it.
There's
It's,
ways.
it's just
Mhm.
I find like this kind of min maxing so frustrating, especially in a game like Mario Kart, where it's like I don't think when I play this game. I said it earlier, right? Like I don't think when I play Mario Kart. I just play. My
But
brain shuts off. And I just play, and
there's a thing.
I don't know.
There's the thing where Nintendo likes in their multiplayer games where anybody can win, but the best person is still going to win most of the time. It just means
Right.
that once in a while another person's going to win. It's not like skill is totally ignored. Like when we play lobbies with some of our like really good people in the Discord, those really good people in the Discord win most of the time. It's just that sometimes other people win other than them just winning 100% of the time. So I don't think it's this wild like oh there's no skill or it's so random because you really don't see that if you do more than one match.
Maybe misquoting, so don't get at me if I do.
Mhm.
Okay. But I remember this interview about Mario Kart ages ago. I think with either Hideki Kono or Kosuke Ibuki, right? And basically they said the goal of Mario Kart, our goal of Mario Kart, is that the most skilled player wins about 70% of the time,
Mhm.
right? That's a fair number for a game like Mario Kart, where
That's
it's like,
great.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very fair.
yeah, I'm not the most skilled player. I'm not going to win, but I'd like to have fun and I'd like to win sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, and meanwhile, if I was skilled, like I'm still winning most of the time. It's just a couple times I'm not winning. That's okay. You
Oh
know?
no, your friends get to have fun and win once in a while. How terrible.
Oh, how
And
terrible.
low key, after a decade of Mario Kart 8, I think I've come to the conclusion that you want to be a front runner, but also front running is kind of boring versus being in
Yeah.
all the chaos of items, having the items
Uh,
actively trying to hit people with other items. That's really chaotic and fun and interesting. And so, Mario Kart World leaning a lot more into, oh, you're getting hit a lot more. The penalty of getting hit is less, but you're still getting hit a lot more, leads to you being less in the front runner spot. And I think that just leads to, I haven't played a ton of the game. I'm not playing competitively online, but like it just overall just leads to a much more consistently interesting experience in the
oh
races from
yeah.
what I found.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, but I really do love this game. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's interesting, right? Because like they said in the developer interview, um, we could have just made more Mario Kart, right? And we could have just called this Mario Kart 9 and just make new courses and whatever, like make it like Mario Kart 8, right? But they specifically tried something different, right? Um, I know not all of it worked out for everyone, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
intermissions are a big deal that some people are like, some people don't, right? Um, the whole interconnected world. But I genuinely do appreciate that they tried something different with this franchise rather than just trying to one up Mario Kart 8 again. You know?
Yeah. It's
Yes.
if Mario Kart 9 was just here's 32 tracks, uh they look prettier and that's it. Or like even if it was like 32 tracks and also here's grinding, like that's the only new thing. It would be fun, but you wouldn't have Knockout Tour, you wouldn't have the free roam. Like the routes, even though not every route is exciting, yeah, some routes are just a straight line. They do make the game have so much more variety. Like if you're online, you're gonna see so many different areas and parts of this map that they
Mhm.
made it beautiful. They made a really good map, and some of those routes are really fun.
Well, so you touched on something. Knockout Tour, fantastic addition to the game.
Oh, it's
I think it's
phenomenal.
my favorite.
So good.
Mhm.
I think it's my favorite mode, honestly, because it's like it's so exhilarating just trying to make sure you're in that like you're in the top whatever to get to the next part, is like especially when you're like Aubrey said earlier, when you're in that middle of the pack, right? You feel so tense trying to make sure that you're top 16 or top 12 or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Um you feel on the edge of your seat the whole time, right?
Yeah. And
And it's
like
great. It's a great feeling.
even pre-release, like watching those knockout tour streams of everyone who got to go to like the Switch 2 events and doing knockout tour, like I could already from there, just watching the people, feel that tenseness.
The energy is so high in knockout courses, and like I still love the regular races too, but they're not as tense, and it's so fun like seeing a race that goes through like five different huge areas
Yeah.
seamlessly is cool.
There's inherently just by each of these races being like what 10 minutes long or whatever, just so much more investment to
Mhm.
them.
The only thing I want is I hope they add more. I the
Yeah.
world is so big, so only having like 8 knockout courses feels like give us a little more. You can
I'm
give us
I'm
increments of
sure
that.
they're going to spend the next decade adding a fuck ton more to this game. Don't you worry.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I have no doubt about that. I'm a strong believer in the Donkey Kong Island expansion, by the way.
I hope so.
Uh,
I'm a believer in it too. Like
It
I
makes
there's there
sense because Donkey Kong not having any skins or Pauline is just it just doesn't make any sense, and it only makes sense if you add something soon uh, after or before Bonanza comes out.
right. Like you know me. I'm like very inherently kind of don't love getting into like theories on like, oh, they're gonna add this content based on X, Y, and Z, because like more often than not, it's gonna lead to disappointment. Like, I owned. Okay, gotta go on a little tangent for a moment, but I owned the Mario server in the space between, which was a server full of people who loved to go over every single second of footage that any single person released for the game. And that demo they had for the Switch 2 event was just the video game with like a couple things locked off. Which like in the context of it being like a demo that each person's gonna play for like 20 minutes, in the span of the game you're playing for like hours upon hours, like sure, it could be the full game, that's like fine. But when it's the context of you're a person who's going over every single second footage, it's like, ooh, there's that character, there's that costume, blah blah blah. And then it's like, then we get to the direct, and I was warning people on that server all the way up. It's like, yeah, we probably already saw most of the stuff in the game from the demo. It's like they wouldn't really have any reason to arbitrarily lock off stuff for things people were only playing for like 20 minutes. And people were like, making all these theories about, no, there's got to be like 10 costumes for each of the base 24 characters and such and such. And then we get to the direct, and there's like 2 new things of information for the people who have been following it super closely. And I was so vindicated.
But Donkey Kong is real.
But Donkey Kong is real because it makes too much sense. Because like, why would Polly not have more than one costume otherwise? It literally makes no sense.
Why would Donkey Kong, a classic character in this franchise, only have one costume?
I mean, to be fair, he only had one costume in Mario Kart World, and it took them like several years to add the costume. So like, yeah, Tour.
I mix them up too. It doesn't help
one of those games is good.
It doesn't help that like games are also like World Tour is a thing, so it's confusing.
But yeah, the only costume Donkey Kong had in Mario Kart Tour was they added like this gladiator costume for him when they added Rome to the game, which was like several years into the game's lifespan.
Oh wow!
Real cities in Mario Kart will never not be funny. It's sad we didn't like get just Paris in the middle of Mario Kart World.
That'd be really funny. But it is funny that Sky High Sunday and the Booster Course Pass was hot garbage, and it's almost like an inverse monkey's paw that like they added Sky High Sunday to Mario Kart World, and like it's good. Like, how did you do it?
Yeah,
how did you do it?
They just all they needed was grinding. They needed grinding and wall rides.
Yeah, or just like remaking the game, the track's entire structure from the ground up. They made it good. The way that you make things good is by making them good.
Oh yeah.
It is wild how like a lot of the retro courses are just not those courses. Which is fine. Like it's kind of cool seeing them make new things based on the old tracks. But like Peach Beach
blew my mind. I was like, this is not the Peach Beach I know.
Yeah. I was like, this part seems familiar, but what's this?
They just made a whole new track out of it.
Yeah, honestly.
Like the whole like Jurassic Park part of Dino Dino's Jungle.
So cute.
It's so cool.
I love the Jurassic Park theming. It just makes it so much more good. It makes it so much more good.
So any last thoughts on Mario Kart World before we move on?
Battle mode needs some more tracks.
I do think battle mode it's more fully featured than Mario Kart 8 was at launch.
Yes,
so that's something.
Sure. Well, that's not saying much.
But that's not saying much. I do hope it gets more though, because it's a little bare bones in my opinion.
I want the capture the flag mode back, the shine
runners.
Shine runners,
capture the flag was really fun with Mario Kart.
There was like a cops and robbers mode too, right?
Yeah, that was good too.
But the problem with that is that those were based on the Piranha Plant items in Mario Kart 8. Now Piranha Plant's a playable character. They can figure something else out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to have that back. Like 24 player cops and robbers. Ooh, that'd be cool. Maybe that would be bad. Who knows? I don't know.
It could make it work.
I do believe the game will get more things, though. I think this is just the
for
beginning.
sure.
Obviously. Like
I'm shocked we haven't had a season pass announced yet. I guess they're saving that for a direct, though.
I kind of hope they release some free updates first. $80 video game and all.
Yeah.
Like,
do I think that'll happen? I don't know.
I don't know. Cool. I mean, I'll pay it regardless, but if only for the discourse.
Yeah, I will say I liked how they did it in 8, where you paid, or if you didn't pay for the DLC, you could still play the tracks online.
Mm-hmm.
So you still got the benefit. Just buying them, let you play them offline and stuff. I think that would be a good compromise if they did have to charge for it.
I mean, yeah, they kind of have to do it. So I suspect it'll be the same here, whatever they end up doing.
You can't split the online player base. It sucks.
They're not going
to. They learned that after the 360, where like whenever they released like a level pack for like a first-person shooter game, nobody ever played those level packs because not enough people had them. So they did so much work like making new like Halo maps, and then you'd barely be able to play them because most people didn't buy it.
I remember in the base Mario Kart 8, they had like specific lobbies for the different DLC packs, if I remember correctly.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like there was like, I could be completely making this up. Don't at me. But I'm pretty sure I remember correctly. There was like a lobby if you had like the Zelda pack, or if you had the Animal Crossing pack, or if you had both packs. It's kind of crazy they let you buy the Zelda and Animal Crossing packs separately. Nintendo does not sell separate DLC packs anymore.
Especially because like the price of Mario Kart 8 DLC was, for the amount of content you get, $12 was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I do not expect as good of a value this time.
Of course not, but they were still figuring out how to do DLC back then.
Well, how much is the booster pass for the I feel like the booster pass was like $20 or something.
Yeah, it was $25. It was $25.
Okay. That's not bad either. You got like what, 50 tracks with that? How many?
48.
48.
But, those were also booster course pass tracks, so
yeah. But still, it was fun having new maps.
Yeah, we don't need to relitigate the booster course pass.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know, but there was another launch game.
Whoa, Switch.
This one also a lot of discourse around its price.
A lot of price discourse is like the theme of the Switch
discourse. Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair, that was like the discourse of the Switch 1 too.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But so
we had a Switch 1 too. Here's the kingdom.
So we had a little game called Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I am gonna sound like a crazy person. Okay. I love this game. Like it's so stupid, right? Because like it all it is like little mini games, little tech demos, and then telling you like in intricate, not even intricate detail, like but like details that you wouldn't, that especially Nintendo would never talk about, right? Of like, this is how we designed the system, and I just find it all so interesting, and I'm obsessed with trying to get 2 medals on every. I tried 3, but I gave up on that dream. So 2 medals on every minigame. And I've just had a really good time learning about the system and playing these dumb mini games, and I've gotten a lot of use out of the mouse controls. I'm having a really good time to the point where I'm not even thinking about, this should have been free. Should it have been free? Yes, right. Sure. I'm not going to disagree with you,
obviously,
but genuinely, it has given me a deeper appreciation for the system. I really, I sound like such a shill right now, but
no, this is the place to be a shill.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
I really do enjoy it.
What's the title of the podcast?
Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast.
Okay. Important
History
wait,
thing. Oh, go ahead first.
important
Go ahead.
question, Mina.
Yeah.
Which minigame made you give up on the 3 metal dream?
Okay, it was very early on actually. It was it was the one where you have to how do I describe it? You feel the vibration and you have to get like within
Oh,
3
yeah.
points
It's
of
terrible.
of
Oh yeah.
of where the strongest vibration is. And I said, I'm never doing that. I am never going to because there's later in that minigame, there's a different version where there's also fake signals, right?
Oh,
It,
wow.
it is the most
Wow.
absurd, like, and I learned to figure out which one were the fake signals, right? But like, still getting it within 3 meters of where, not meters, but three little points of where the strongest signal is, excruciating. It's a miracle I even got 2 medals, to be honest with you, because you have to get within 10 points for that. But within three was just like, no. I can't do this. I can't do this. Uh,
Another podcast I listened to was complaining about that exact minigame.
it's
So yeah,
evil.
you're not
It,
alone.
it, I did think maybe after I 2 medal everything, I'll just try to like maybe once a week try to like one get that third medal in every little mini. But that's all. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
My
yeah, I don't know. The game. I like the game.
yeah.
Genuinely do.
Yeah, I have a history of liking these sort of
Mm.
museum games. I used to love specifically the PlayStation version of Namco Museum, where you explore the museums and look at all this cool history material. So this reminds me a lot of that. The music's very relaxing. Great music, by the way, as
Yeah.
a thing on the Switch too. Great music on the Welcome Plaza or Welcome Tour. Each area has its own track. It's a very gentle, relaxing vibe, and I can see how a lot of people might see that as boring. But as someone who likes museums, both like in real life and in video games, it has a museum quality that I really appreciate, and it's a good time. I'm very happy. I
I will say some of the minigames are maddening. Like I described that HG Rumble one, right? There's another HG Rumble one where you have to like feel the shape and then like uh guess which shape it is
oh, I
based
gave
off of
up
like
on that one like in 2 seconds. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good.
the second version of that is so ridiculous because it instead of shapes, it's letters. So you have to guess, is this the letter A,
Oh.
letter C, like and it's like it it gets I got so frustrated. I did get 3 medals on it though, somehow, by the grace of God. But it was oh my god. This game like makes me want to pull my hair out, honestly. In a way that I enjoy, though, I should say.
Would for that mini game, was it like for game 3 medals, did you have to do like figure out what the letter was fast enough, or did you have to get like a 100% hit rate?
Yeah, so you have to do it fast enough. Because like you have
Oh,
time to
that's
like
evil.
yeah. Because you have to feel out the letter, right? But you have to do it like real
Mhm.
quick, right? You have to do it within 30
Oh,
seconds. You have to guess 5 letters within 30 seconds. Um,
A
Jesus.
lot.
yeah. I don't know how I got that one. Honestly.
Good job. We've got a master gamer on the pod.
Oh yeah. So yeah, yeah. It's not for everyone though. I would not recommend this to everyone. I think you have to be willing to have an appreciation for stupidity. Does that make sense?
You have to have an appreciation for you have to be a true like a true nincel to appreciate this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I I'm an incel. I didn't bother picking up. It was like,
What?
j-
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I'm admitting it here. I'm a fraud. Yeah, it's like I was just
Shame,
like,
shame,
I
Same.
don't
shame.
know. I mean, it just think it was more of like I could spend my time on that. I mean, I'll be completely honest here. When was hearing that the topic of podcast was Switch 2 impressions, like, fuck, I've been spending most of my time playing 100 Line, not playing Switch 2. It's like,
Oh no.
well, do I want to play Welcome Tour or do I want to play 100 Line? It's like, that's a pretty
No,
easy.
that's fair.
Easy.
But I'm happy at least two of us are appreciating the Nintendo's cute little museum experience.
It does seem like a really well made product, even if maybe it shouldn't have been a product.
Yeah, and it is not for everyone. I don't. If I was Nintendo and I had Mario Kart World and I had Welcome Tour, I would not want Welcome Tour to be people's first experience with the system.
No, not at all. No.
So in that sense, I'm very glad they just included Mario Kart, and they were like, if you're a Nintendo sicko and you want this, it's here. But go play Mario Kart. That's what we actually want you to play. This game is
like an Astro's Playroom, which I think Astro's Playroom anyone could enjoy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
It's a fun platformer.
I think Welcome Tour is a game that would bore some people to death.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think again, not defending its price point, I promise. But I it should not be people's first experience with the system though.
Do you know what my thing is? I think even
Yeah.
if they gave Welcome Tour for free, I still think you should have to look it up on the store and download it. I don't think you should pre-install it on the system. You just again, the Nintendo is like, play Mario Kart. Do this later if you really want to. But we're not going to put this on your system. Yeah, so make it free, but make people search for it.
I will say, so to swerve from Welcome Tour a little bit,
Mhm.
I am a little fraudulent because my most played game on the Switch 2 is not a first party game.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna be sick.
I've actually
Is
been playing.
it? Oh, wait. Let me guess.
Yeah,
Is
go for it.
it Street Fighter?
It's Street Fighter 6, which
Hey!
I already have a ton of hours in the PC version, but my wife picked it up on Switch 2, and you can we can swap the virtual game card back and forth, right?
That's cool.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I kind of been using it just to like mess around in training mode and like play in ranked mode. Because I reached a ceiling that I've been having a hard time cracking. So going through the ranks again has been kind of fun. Of like, oh yeah, these are people I can actually beat again. Maybe I'm smurfing. I don't know. But
we won't snitch.
yeah. But I've been having and it's a really solid port. Like, it looks great. It's a little fuzzy, but not fuzzy enough to matter. And it's just a really good port. I will say the biggest problem with it is don't play this game with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I can see that not being great.
I think most people could have assumed that.
Yeah.
Does your new fight stick work on, or your new hitbox work on the Switch?
So I specifically today, I went right before this podcast, I went to go pick up a package of a adapter that lets me use my new leverless controller on the Switch 2. Yes. So I'm excited for that.
And there's something to be said for convenience of just having it with you.
Oh yeah.
You set it up in tabletop mode, put your leverless in front of it, and go to town.
Yeah. It's been getting a lot of use out of it for me, so I'm really happy with it. Did any of you pick up third-party games on this thing?
Third-party games?
I picked up one game.
Oh?
And it's maybe a not so solid port.
Oh
no.
Hitman World of Assassination with the signature pack and the quack pack. It was very funny opening up the case because I bought the game physical. I pre-ordered it from GameStop. Just I'm a Hitman fan, And it was like, I always like, ooh, I should pick up, because I played it on Xbox before I sold my Xbox. I played on Game Pass anyways, back when it was on there. I was like, oh, I want to pick up the game on PC at some point. But, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way with how annoying the Steam page for that game is. It's like, oh, we have 5 different versions. And even if I know what the best version of the game to buy is, it still kind of pisses me off. And so when they announce, okay, here's the definitive edition, everything besides the you don't get the Claude Van Damme DLC or whatever, which, like, whatever, I don't care about Claude Van Damme. Just the entire thing on one key cart for $60, and it's like, yeah, I'll pick that up. And so opening up the case, inside is a vouchers, like, a DLC voucher that has 2 different DLC codes on it. One for the Quack Pack, one for the Signature Pack. And I'm just thinking, like, why don't you just give me a DLC code that gives me both the Quack Pack and the Signature Pack? I don't understand
that's
it.
weird. That is weird.
So weird. But I installed them. I booted up the game. I played through. I've only gone through the tutorial map so far, but it's Hitman 3. Hitman World of Assassination, and it's. I've been talking a lot with a friend of the server, Eden, about, it's like, for whatever reason, the game runs mostly in like the mid 40s, but does not have any way to lock the frame rate to 30 FPS. And on it's so weird. And on handheld mode, it's like, VRR more or less covers the 40s range, and it's like, it looks pretty fine. But when you're playing dock mode, it is really jittery. And it just comes across like it was a very kind of last minute port to the system. And like, hopefully they'll, get around to fixing, roughing out the edges at some point. But right now it is like, it's disappointing. It's still like a fine enough version, but still disappointing.
I will say I really wanted Hitman on Switch 2 because I would love like handheld Hitman, right? Portable Hitman. Would love to play. That's like a really good game to play in bed, honestly. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the VRR kind of smoothing out the performance does make me feel like, oh, okay, at least it's something. But I do have a few wants for it before I pick it up. I will probably pick it up eventually anyway, just when it's on sale, because I already have it on Steam, so it's harder to justify, right?
Yes, definitely.
But I do hope they smooth out the performance. I hope they add a cap for 30 FPS, because I wouldn't mind playing at 30 FPS. And I hope they had like Switch 2 specific features like gyro or mouse controls.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Crazy.
Because it's so weird to me they didn't add that, because like honestly, like, it's not a game that needs like precise shooting or anything, but it would be nice to have, like why not make use of the system's features,
Yeah, and that's some things. It's like, okay, this feels like they got it together last minute to get ready for the Switch 2 launch. It's like, I mean, and we can have a greater conversation just about how there was that thing from whoever the other day, Chris String maybe, how a lot of the Switch 2 third-party launch titles didn't sell very well, and it's like. Just kind of looking at the lineup for a lot of the games that released at the beginning of Switch 2, it's like, yeah, y'all kind of fucked this up a lot.
Yeah, the thing is, the one that's doing the best is the one that put in the most effort, right?
Yeah. Cyberpunk is the one that's selling good because it's the good value game.
It has all the features. It's not a game key card. It looks pretty good. It has the 40 frames per second mode. Yeah.
And especially with like focusing in on Sega's work on the system, it's like, what are you guys doing? Yakuza 0, I don't go there, but Yakuza 0 has the it's a $50 version of the game you've been able to get for like $10 for a decade now.
Yeah.
It has the cutscenes that pissed off all the Yakuza fans. Sonic X Shadow Generations doesn't have an upgrade. Puyo Puyo Tetris Tetris 2S doesn't have an upgrade either, and it's
It doesn't have an upgrade,
$40.
and it's like nothing.
Yeah, it's like not even an upgrade. Like it adds what
Like a
like
shitty
some
mouse mode that looks not fun at all.
yeah, it's a mouse mode that's equivalent to like, oh, you can clap for your friends in a SO if you're playing a single player game. And I think it adds one other mode, but like it's not worth $40. What are you doing, Sega?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like a lot of third-party games have just kind of been disappointing, right? With
Mhm.
like either performance or like no upgrade path or game key card or like, and again, the one that actually didn't have all these negatives is the one that's doing well. So clearly, if you do it right, you will be rewarded on this system, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a
Yeah.
lot of publishers don't seem to care enough to get it right, and
Mm.
that's disappointing, I think.
Yeah.
There's one I wanted. I didn't get any third parties yet, but I've been happy enough playing Echoes of Wisdom, The Wild, stuff like that. But I'm very tempted by Fantasy Life I. I've heard it's a very good Switch 2 version, and it
Mhm.
looks like a great game overall. So I do want to grab that at some point.
I actually have it. I didn't play it yet because I've been playing so many other things, but
Mm.
I do want. I want to try that out. Um, yeah, and then I've also got Split Fiction,
Oh
which
yeah,
supposed.
yeah.
Oh, you got the Switch 2 version of that?
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
playing
I
that
did.
with Splendor at some point. But
Mhm.
It's actually it runs pretty well. It's a 30 FPS game, but it's fine. It feels fine. It's like um, it supports Game Share, which is really nice. Though it has the friend pass anyway, but I because
I mean,
sometimes I'm very lazy, right? So like I'm playing with my wife and I don't want to sit on the couch, right? So I'm like, we each have our Switch 2s in our bed and we're game sharing and it's great. it's it's a good time. I'm actually and the game is wild, by the way. That's just a wild game, but that's a whole other topic. Um yeah, what else did I
I
get?
guess the one other. Oh, do you have more games?
Oh, I wanted No Man's Sky because it was on sale
Mm,
and apparently it's like a
yeah,
really
I
mhm.
it,
considered it for that sale price, but I
I
didn't get
did
to that
kind
yet.
of consider it too, but then I was like, I'm not gonna play No Man's Sky. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, I have
That's
it
kind
on
of what I
PC, and I'd
do.
rather just play it there
Mhm.
if I'm
But
gonna play
apparently
it
it's
at
a great
all.
port, though. Apparently it's a great
Yeah,
port. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like hopefully it did well for them. You know?
yeah, I'd love to
yeah,
see more Switch 2 versions of indie games.
Yeah, it is interesting. I bet a lot of it is like obviously Nintendo was very close to their chest with dev
that's
kits
good.
before
Yeah,
release, like maybe to a detrimental degree. And now it's like, okay, looking at it, it's like, okay, when are they gonna announce all the other video games? And like, I'm sure once we get to like, Game Awards season, we'll start seeing more Switch 2 announcements. Right now it's like, oh, okay, the new Trails game was announced and it's $10 more on Switch 2 and it's a game key card. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Um, yeah. So the third party situation's been weird, but like a little mix. Some good, some bad, and I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
been
I think some is probably just being saved for another direct. I think we'll see another
yeah.
Yeah.
big drop.
I do think
Um,
Nintendo's saving like a batch of games for a direct for sure because they've done that in the past, like not that often, but I do think for launch especially they will try to have like a direct where there's like a lot of games, make the most impact, because
Hmm.
games do get more like the announcement gets more of a pop when it comes in the form of a direct, right? Versus
yeah,
a
Yeah.
random social media
and
drop.
it's more impactful now that people have the consoles. And I think
Hmm.
it also makes a stronger sell for developers. It's like, hey, this system now is owned by at least probably like what 4 million now, let's say.
At a
Probably
minimum, yeah.
thereabouts. Yeah,
So
could be closer
four
to 5
million
at this
people,
point.
hey, and they have this thing, so they can actually buy these games now. The last direct was obviously pre launch, so now they can shadow drop things. They can they have a lot more leeway, I think.
Isn't it funny with all those like stupid pre-release things like, oh, the Switch 2 has to contend with PC gaming handhelds now. It's like it hasn't even been a month and the Switch 2 has outsold the Steam Deck.
Yeah, which was always going to happen. Like those
Yeah,
are
it was
those are
always
very
gonna
niche
happen.
devices.
Hmm.
But I do want to discuss for a second, if we can, if unless there's other third party games, like if anyone got any
No,
like
no, no.
Switch 2 accessories.
Nah.
Oh, accessories! I got way too many. I would love to talk about this.
Yeah.
So let me talk about the stupidest purchase I made, but I love it. Okay.
Okay.
I got the all-in-one case, which was way too expensive.
Oh wow.
Isn't that like $80 or something?
I don't want to talk about it, Aubrey. It was
Okay.
it was way too expensive. But I've already used it. I had
Oh,
a
that's cute though.
yeah, it's like a little lunchbox. It's like a GameCube.
Yeah, that's adorable.
It's it fits everything in there. Like I said, I've already used it. It already came in handy for me, because I am someone who does take my Switch 2 to my friend, like not my Switch 2, but before previously my Switch to like a friend's place or whatever. So we went to this like local arcade, and they have screen set up. So I was like, hey, you don't have a Switch 2. Do you want to try out the new Mario Kart? And it was the perfect opportunity, to
Oh, that's
bring all
cool.
my yeah.
Yeah.
So I got that. I got a camera. I know, Jared, you also got a camera.
Yep.
Well, wait, one
Loving the
second.
camera.
I do want to apologize. The all-in-one case is not $80, it is 85.
Because yeah,
Yeah,
the tariffs brought everything up $5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Accessories.
And then Amiibo $10.
Yeah.
Amiibo $10.
Anyways, the camera.
Mhm.
I did not expect to like the camera as much as I do, but I kind of love this stupid thing. Honestly, it is in Mario Kart. There's something to just seeing your friends' dumb faces, um, in hovering over the thing, and what you can see them get mad when they get hit by an item, and it's something to it. I actually kind of, because I have a couple friends who did get a camera, not necessarily the camera, but a camera, right? Um, but I did get the official one though, because why not?
It's very nice though. It's very wide angle, so you using it as like a real PC webcam is like not great. Also,
Oh
like
no,
my
no, no.
TV is a little far away, so it's very blurry. But it is very fun. I do enjoy it. I've also used it in handheld mode. I was game chatting with someone from the Discord, and I showed him a quiche I was making. I brought the Switch into the kitchen and I pointed my camera, and that was very funny. So
I
I'm a big fan.
I
Oh
am
yeah.
genuinely surprised by game chat as like
Oh
just
yeah.
just being a thing. When it was announced, it was like
Who's
I
gonna use this?
expected. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we're not going to use it, and then we get in. It's like, oh, this works. It's not as comprehensive as of a experience as Discord, of course, which like
Mhm.
Absolutely
obviously
not.
it's not going to be like in terms of just being like a very convenient. Oh, gets put on your headphones, has the Switch audio, has everyone else's audio. It just literally works, and the nice thing of just automatically filtering out the game audio if you're using like no
Oh, the
just the
noise
Switch.
canceling is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good noise canceling. Like it just works and super convenient than having to wrangle that and Discord together. It's nice.
Yeah.
I'm
It's so
kind of
convenient. It's so
baffled.
fast. Oh.
I was a big skeptic of game
Mhm.
chat because
Me
I was like,
too.
Mhm.
"Who's going to use this? There's no
Yeah.
point. We have Discord." But first of all, I remembered I have friends who don't have Discord, so it
Mhm.
was good for that because we used to just call each other on the phone and do it that way, which is very barbaric, I know.
Mhm.
But now we game
That
chat.
is.
But uh, but even besides those friends, though, even people I have on Discord, there is something to just having it. Like it's very seamless. It's very quick to do. Right, the mic is very good. I was surprised at how good the mic is because, like, I had some friends who have their Switch like behind their TV, and it still picks them up crystal clear. You
Yeah.
know.
It's
Um.
also very
It,
social. Like it reminds me of if you all know about the remember the We Speak?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was before my time.
The Wii Speak was a microphone you would put in front of your TV for the Wii. I think it was introduced to the Animal Crossing.
Yes, Animal Crossing City
yeah.
Folk. Yeah.
But it was a very similar situation where you sat on your couch and voice chat, which is not a usual thing. Like usually when I'm voice chatting, I'm in my office. I have my headphones on. I'm in my dark gamer room. But like when I'm game chatting with social, like my girlfriend can talk to people as well. We play. We have two couple friends that have Switches. We've played with them, and it's been so fun because all four of us can talk to each other without headphones and without like speaking into a microphone, and it's just seamless and easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good for people who have like multiple like people in the house that are also like gamers, right? Because me and my wife were using it to game chat. We were using game chat, and like it picked up both of us clear.
Yeah.
The camera's actually really good for that too, because like in Mario Kart, it lets you like pick where your face is, and like it was capturing both of us perfectly. You know,
That's cool.
Yeah.
which I did enjoy. Yeah, so it again back to circle back like the first thing we said. It's just a very social console, right? And I've to a surprising degree, I think.
They chose
You
the
know?
right game with Mario Kart as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A game that almost everyone is going to play and enjoy to some capacity. Maybe it's not your favorite game, but most people are willing to play a game.
Now, did we all get pro controllers?
I did.
Yes.
I think that now I know there's some mixed reception to the D-pad again. Not as bad as the Switch one, but some are saying it's not perfect still, right? Now I
I'll
haven't
take your
played a
word for
2D
it.
game on it. Actually, I lied. I played Street Fighter, and I was actually kind of fine on Street Fighter, to be honest with you. So I thought it was fine personally, but I don't want to diminish other people's experiences. You know.
It's a lot better.
I will be honest. I will never use a D-pad in a video game unless it forces me to.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And I've always been this. I was playing. Well, no, the thing is, I grew up with the Wii, so I was using the D-pad on the Wii. But then I got a Wii U.
The nunchuck was how you controlled most gaming games.
You're not using the nunchuck for New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Maybe
I used the nunchuck for most games that allowed me to.
Fair, yeah. I was a kid, so I wasn't thinking too much about it. But yeah, I was playing Mega Man 1 and 2 the other day for the first time, and it was like, oh, these are 2D games. I should use the D-pad on these. And I tried using the, I was like, I just don't like using the D-pad. I like using the control stick.
I like using D-pads more when it's like a D-pad centric, like when the D-pad's actually like in the prime position,
like a DualSense.
I mean, I was using a DualSense to play Mega Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just fundamentally not who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I beat those games.
But I will say the D-pad is a lot better. It's not like, oh my god, I've been playing, not related to this podcast, but I've been playing a lot of my new 3DS XL recently, and oh my god, that D-pad is amazing. So the Switch 2 D-pad, it's no new 3DS XL, but it's pretty good. It's definitely better than Switch 1.
Yeah, it gets the job done. I will say the analog sticks though, oh my god, and the buttons.
Oh, they feel quiet.
So good. They're so quiet. They feel great. Like it's
the most quiet controller I've ever owned.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other thing is, so I've owned an Xbox Elite controller, right? I've owned a DualSense Edge, and I've owned a Pro controller. I have a problem, but that's not the point. The grip buttons are actually the easiest to use I've ever had on an official controller. Because the Elite controller, they're kind of messy, honestly. And the DualSense Edge is like, okay, not amazing, but not bad. But like, I find the grip buttons on the Pro controller to actually be very natural to use compared to those two controllers.
It reminds me of like the Steam Deck OLED ones, which are also very easy to press.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
like
yeah.
even on the Steam Deck, like I didn't end up. Part of it is just like it's kind of more of a pain in the ass to map stuff to the buttons on
Oh
the Steam
yeah.
Deck than
Very
on
true.
here where the quick start menu. Like
Oh, it's so easy.
I never really use the the grip buttons on the Steam Deck, but here it's like, oh yeah, I can just map stuff to the grips. So nice.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy, very simple to do, and
It's so smart to have it all in the quick menu.
and
Mhm.
per game selection, because like my DualSense Edge, it only has 3 profiles that you can swap between, right?
Oh.
Versus this thing, it's a per game basis, and it's really real quick and easy to do. I think it's just a lot smarter implementation than back buttons have been by the other first party
Yeah.
controllers.
Yeah, like just we were talking about earlier. It's like, oh yeah, Switch 2 is like maybe some of the best hardware Nintendo has ever made. Just like a big part of that is even on like an OS level, just like a very comprehensive going over what were the problems with the OS with the Switch One, and they fixed most of them. Like,
Yeah,
it's impressive. Like it's just a really great experience, top to bottom.
It's just a very well thought out user experience.
I mean,
Mhm.
the changes are smart, but once in a while, I do have the feeling I'm like, this really is a Switch 2. Like this, it's less of like a sea change, and like it's the interface is almost the same. It just works a lot better because the console is faster.
Mhm.
But like, I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing.
No, I don't either. It's just
It
sometimes I get that feeling.
yeah, no, I get that feeling though. I understand that feeling. It like
Mhm.
but it is a Switch 2, right? It is you can
Yeah.
feel it in every way. Like it is like this is a Switch but better, right? There's no real point to where because generational transitions can be tough sometimes,
Mhm.
right? And like for example, from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, there was a lot of missing features from PS4,
Yeah.
right? I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were there. I promise.
Themes.
Yeah.
I mean, PS3 to PS4 interface. Oh my god, I still miss the XMB. It was so good.
Sure. But like this one, it was a very just like there's nothing about the original Switch that I miss. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
I just have no reason to use that thing anymore.
You
You know?
don't miss the IR camera?
I don't miss the IR camera.
You don't miss Labo?
Unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah, it's
I need to get one of those charging stands so I can in case I want to do like Ring Fit again or play like WarioWare, that I could still have like a set of Switch
Oh,
One Joy-Cons charged.
one of those Joy-Con charging stands.
Yeah, I should grab one of those if they still make those.
I think they do.
Yeah.
They just started making them like last year or early this year, even.
Yeah, it was
Weirdly,
like
the official
I
Nintendo
think
ones.
it launched alongside Super Mario Party Jamboree, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was very obvious that oh yeah, they're releasing these because the Joy-Con 2s won't the Switch 2 won't charge Joy-Cons.
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, so you should still probably be able to get. I mean, let's see here. Joy-Con charging. Nope, it's sold out on the Nintendo site. Bad news.
Bad news.
I do see Best Buy has them.
Okay. So you can get them somewhere.
$30. So I might grab one of those. It's
now,
a weird
God Charger NES controllers.
Yeah.
So
True.
yeah.
I need to send my Switch 1 controllers in for repair too. They're drifting. Not important.
Now we've covered old games, we covered new games, we covered third-party games.
One more accessory.
Accessories. Oh, one more accessory. Go for it.
The GameCube controller.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's a little louder than the original one. I hope like get quieter, gets more, but it is very nice. I'll be excited to use that for GameCube NSO. I've used that actually for Mario Kart before my Pro controller came in. It works fine, except like the triggers are weird because they're only digital at the bottom. So you have
Yeah.
to fully push them down
Oh.
to make the R button go. But it was fine for basic play. Good controller overall, though. I'm happy I bought it. I love GameCube, and that controller is iconic.
I didn't even buy it for GameCube NSO. I bought it for Smash Brothers. Honestly,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I just like using a GameCube controller with Smash, and I don't want to use a wired controller anymore. So this is a nice thing to have for sure.
That's fair.
Any other accessories, anything to talk about, or anything else before we wrap this baby up? Any last launch impressions or anything?
I have a little funny accessory thing.
Yeah.
So I bought my case. Oh, we're exciting podcast content. We're talking about cases. I bought my case from AM Film. Always been getting my screen protection. I was like, yeah, okay. Very minimalist case from them. Probably fine. Got it for like $14. Pretty good. And the labeling on the case said Nintendo Switch 2025, and it's clear they made all the packaging and created the entire thing before the Switch 2 was properly announced, which is very funny.
Yeah, because they're like, we don't know what it's going to be called. We know the dimensions and everything because it all leaked, but we don't know what it's called.
Just gave me a chuckle when I saw that.
Yeah. I hope you didn't buy any D-brand kill switch cases because those are controversial to say the least.
Yeah, thankfully not. No,
No.
I just wanted a case that keeps the screen from getting scratched when I throw it in a bag.
Oh,
that's all I needed.
Yeah.
Did you all do the screen protectors?
Yeah,
I did get one as well. Yeah,
it's not just the entire body of the thing. I don't want anything like bumping, scratching, whatever.
It's so funny with like new devices. I'm so precious, and then like as they get old,
it's just like whatever.
More places.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing.
But I believe that about wraps it up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Switch 2.
That was our Nintendo Switch 2 launch impressions. We will hopefully be back on a more regular basis. Not gonna make any promises, but
we're gonna try. We have an easier pipeline now.
Yeah.
So
pipeline.
Like the pipeline is easy enough now that anyone could record a podcast.
Yeah. So we're gonna try, and hopefully Nintendo gives us food, to talk about stuff. But
we'll find stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you somehow are listening to this podcast and you're not in the server, we have a Discord server, Nintendo Pipeline. I don't know what's the link. It'll be in the description. You'll
I
find
don't know if we have a link right now.
Okay, well,
if you're interested, send us a message.
People are joining the server somehow.
Well, they're joining from link. They're joining from the pipe right now. Our new pipe.
Our new pipe.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Let's make a link. Let's make a link to put in the description.
We'll make a new link. We'll post it in the description, and if it's not there, then send us a message, and we'll get you in there.
Yell at Muffin about it.
And if you're in the server already, and you're a regular, and you want on the podcast, maybe you should talk to us. We're always open. We're not gonna make any promises, but
as long as your microphone isn't terrible, there's a good chance you can be on the podcast.
Pretty much. So let us know. Yeah, and that about does it. I guess we're signing off.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Goodbye, gamers.
Goodbye.